We are live. Good morning, traders. Wow, what kind of day are we going to have today? It is, what is it, day 22? Did I mark that right? 21 of my challenge. Um, and we got 2 minutes until market open, so kind of dive in and see what we think. Clean up this chart just a little bit. We're zoomed in right now. In the 1 minute, I'm looking at midnight open. The blue line here just kind of hovering around midnight open. It doesn't help really give me too much of a bias. When we're bullish, we buy below. Bearish, we sell above. We have London high still intact up in here, and we can see we're looking bullish on overnight in London. But my question is this the high of the day? Got a nice stop hunt of London itself. And what do we got? 1 minute until open. I'm kind of, gosh, right now is an interesting place to be in price. I feel like we're kind of floating between PD arrays. The higher time frames, like here I'm looking at the 1 week, looking a little bearish. It didn't confirm this change in state and delivery. I'm kind of expecting it to come down into here. I also don't want to get in the way of a freight train. I mean, look at this whole year so far, right? I don't want to expect too much bearishness. The daily, similar kind of vibe. It couldn't flip this fair value gap. And so that makes me believe we're going to come down for some of these equal lows. But I don't want to get too caught up in a bearish bias at the moment. We have these different PD arrays that were prices flipping between. And that's the zone where it's kind of like trying to figure out where it wants to, what it wants to do. So the 15-minute here is bullish. I'm kind of running off that for the moment. And then the 1 hour here, I'm kind of looking to see what it did. I don't like how it didn't take this, make a change in state of delivery up in here. It doesn't mean it can't still. We got market open right now. Let's go back over to this chart. And here we go. Let's see what happens. Pull up ES and YM. YM is already falling off a cliff. Look at that. YM, I've noticed, tends to lead the way. That right there, when I wasn't quite ready, could have been the trade. 920. Could have been. When it does this, you can usually just mark it in on the candle close kind of thing. 100 ticks. So there is the first 1 minute candle creating a breaker, tapped into an inversion. The only thing I'm missing is SMT. Is right there. So I already missed it right there. Too late on that one. I thought about marketing in on that candle close, but I wanted to confirm the SMT and confirm the higher time frame level tap. The stop hunt just was a little too slow. Could also be, oh, there it goes. Pushing higher still. Nice. Just a little too slow. There was even a retest if I had done a limit order. So curious to see if this plays out. I just wasn't quick enough. Clean up some of this a little bit. There was a 1 hour, and part of what I was looking at, why I was hesitating is I didn't see any higher time frame PD arrays down in here, and then as I was looking around on my other chart, I eventually saw a 1 hour inversion that got tapped into. This fair value gap, the first presented fair value gap. I forgot to look at a regular trading hours gap. There. I'm not going to enter on a retest, especially at 9:30. I don't really like that. 9:30 can be the fake out. This could totally be the double Judas. Taking some liquidity down in here, taking some liquidity down in here before ripping further. So I don't typically like the retests. If anything, I would prefer to get in on a order block kind of thing, which I'm not seeing right in here. If this tapped into this fair value gap and closed above, that would be a high probability order block. Looks like the bullish delivery is playing out. It kind of had a neutral bias, so was willing to be able to see things both ways today. London high of the day is taken. So it's 9:35. I won't have probably anything to get in on this macro here. Probably gonna have to wait till the next macro. See if there's any possibility. Now, this high up here, this London high has been swept. I find that interesting. Let's see what kind of reaction there is up there. YM is falling off a cliff. Look at that. That's interesting. So right now, YM is not correlated to NQ. ES is formed a bullish SMT down in here. Here's the London high. So right there's bearish SMT with ES. YM is doing its own thing, and I've noticed YM tends to lead. So it actually kind of makes me wonder if ES and NQ are going to catch up. In which case, that actually gives me reason to short. Or not that alone, but several things. Volume imbalance, 88. Holy moly. Be a bigger stop than I want. Stop. Limit. Okay. Let's go, let's go. Entered in on the short. Inverted the first presented fair value gap, created this breaker here. Feel like my stop is a little tight. Even still, kind of checking it out and sizing it up. 112, that's actually not much at all. So I have plenty of room to play. So we took the London high. tapped into a 1 hour fair value gap for rejection. And what I don't like is this volume imbalance right there. So what kind of stop is that? Sizing things up here, got a minute, 167 if I went with that, which is totally fine. I don't want to see what happens here. So that long, that failed. All right, so target wise, let's see what we got going on in here. I don't anticipate price at all coming back up into here. Even here, I really wouldn't want to see that. So 2R down to there. A bit shy. Probably would want to front run it some. So it's coming down into this regular trading hour gap, which it could push it up a little bit out of there. Take a look and see what's happening. YM is still falling. ES, they're syncing up. So that was an unexpected short. I didn't think I was going to get a trade opportunity in this macro, but that actually looks pretty dang beautiful. Stop hunt, inversion, breaker. Now target-wise, just curious what we got down below. On my other screens over here. All right, so distributing down, down, down. I like it. I want to see it move a little bit further, a little bit harder. Here's a fair value gap at 013, right down in here. That lines up perfectly. I don't want to see this create any bullish structure in here. It's looking like it kind of wants to. This volume imbalance right there I'm paying attention to. What I don't want to see is this stop hunt, this stop hunt, this stop hunt kind of thing. Because then that means I'm in seek and destroy, and that's no fun. $9.42. I want to see it drop. This here's a BPR, one of the stronger PD arrays. We see BPRs flipping, we know we're in trouble. Let's go in drawdown. All right, kind of looking around, trying to gauge things here. Wondering if I'm off sides or not. I don't feel like it tapped into anything down into here to cause a bullish reversal. I'm in the trade, so take my coin and I flip it. I could see price coming up into here and clearing out some of this liquidity too, and maybe my stop's a little too tight being on the top side of that inversion, but I give it a little more room. I gave it above the breaker. So here's the breaker bottom. Here's this inversion. Give it just a little bit of breathing room up in there. These green candles, that's a strong push. So I'm feeling like I'm going to be off sides here on this trade at the moment. Not saying it can't come up close and keep going, but it's definitely a strong push. These 4 1-minute candles. And really, this is the kind of thing where I get, there's that volume imbalance right there, and I get ticked out for it. So I can move it just a little bit. Oh, I'm out. So here we go. Boy, now that's a, so I moved my stop up just a bit. Right into there, I think. So mark that out. And just gonna sit on my hands for a little bit. I think unless this is a continuation, what I'm kind of looking at. It's possible I just had my stop too tight, because that does happen when I tuck my stop up like that. I can get stopped out on a good trade. So there is an order block right there. That to me is kind of signifying long. YM's consolidating, ES doing its own thing. That order block right there, that's not my, here's this inversion. Stop hunt. Here's a breaker. Probably not going to come down to give me a retest. I could do a retest on this candle probably, but I don't want to get in if it gets too far away, obviously. Coming back down. All right, give it one more shot. I can see it long just as well from here. Kind of a PD array salad, which is the only thing I'm hesitating here, seeing there's a salad of PD arrays, which also makes me feel like it might just straight up come for my stop. And this is a stop hunt, this is a stop hunt, and it's in seek and destroy mode. So that's totally possible too. And in fact, likely, now that I'm seeing what's this response right there, I feel like it's going to be seek and destroy. So accept my fate. That's it. Nothing else to do. All right, the 5 minute is looking like consolidation. YM is falling. So likely I'm off sides here again, which is okay. I took the short here and got stopped out on that. Flipped long. Now I'm going to get stopped out on this. That's okay. And I'm out. So clean this up here real quick. Okay. So there we go. Curious here. The seek and destroy indicator. I like it because it kind of helps me just remember to check out seek and destroy conditions. It doesn't say seek and destroy, but and basically it just judges if London took Asia's high and low. And let's kind of zoom out. Let's see what's going on here. I took 2 L's pretty quick together, which I'm kind of bending my rules a little bit doing that. But I'm also trying to be flexible, right? And be able to just trade without the stress. So the 5 minute here, starting to show some zebra stripes. 15 minute. I mean, that was a nice bullish candle. I obviously didn't have my stop all the way below that breaker. but it was such a huge breaker. Oh, look at this. So that's basically wanted that gap down in there. I didn't see that. Right there. All right, so YM made a little breaker. ES is kind of doing the same thing as NQ. It's just kind of doing a bit of seek and destroy. It's 954. I do think a long would be good now, still. Not sure if I want to enter though. Look at that. So just as I'm like tape reading my long, what I might have done comes down. And my stop's a little tight, so maybe this is one of those days where you do got to use the swings. But I also don't like that response right there. This isn't looking favorable. That's an order block right there. Looks all right. If it closes above. So kind of curious to see what happens here. YM is moving nicely. That. Beautiful breaker on YM. So on the NQ, closed above, so that's an order block. I'm not trusting this at the moment, so I'm just going to tape read this idea here. These are the kind of days where previously I would toast evals or put accounts into huge drawdown. See that price, since it's opened at 9:30, has hardly moved away from the 30 open. Right, here's this dotted line, right? It's not distributing, it doesn't want to go anywhere. So it's not to say that this long won't play out, but chances of it playing are just low probability. And for me, I've seen it enough times where like I go short, looks great, and I'm off sides, flips, presents my model long, and just rips. Which it did do here, and I'll admit there was this gap down in here, so I technically could still be in the trade, right? Because I longed here. I could still be in the trade in theory if I had a larger stop loss. But with what I'm kind of seeing and how it's failing to distribute, I'm not totally sure it wants to move. So I'm just happy to sit here and not be in on this. Oh, what's going on, Timmy313? Good morning. God bless to you too, my friend. Hope all is well over there on your side of the world. And it's not wanting to move. Which I've taken 2 L's, and that's my rules say step away. So, or be done for the day. I'm good with that because I'm not feeling this. YM digging deep into that breaker right there. Just kind of forming a flag here on ES. Oh, you're loading up the cabinet job you finished? Got that one all done, man? Right on. How did it turn out? Like, they're super happy. Are you stoked about it? Kind of flagging here. That was the rich people, right? High resistance. I would not want to be in on this. All right, starting to get some movement. 24 seconds left on this candle. It is 10 o'clock, so we're opening up a new 1 hour and a new 4 hour candle here in just a second. 10:01, so that is the first of the new candle. All right. A little bit of seek and destroy and high resistance this morning. Wonder if anyone else got chopped up. Oh, look at that right there. Push. Nice. I'm just noting here this gap and this gap right there. No other gaps. And just annotating for myself here, giving the stop loss a little bit of room below the gaps. And I would still be in this long here. So this first trade, I was off sides. I took that short and I was just off sides. Here I took this long with my stop tucked up a little bit tighter than it should have been. I'm trying not to use the swings anymore. I'm finding that that's just not necessary. However, in this case, I didn't notice these gaps down in here, so I would typically have tucked my stop a little bit below those, but didn't see them, so I messed up and got stopped out of a potentially good trade. It's part of the game, though. I put my money on the table and I was willing to do business, and it was an expense today. All right, so after that, high resistance right in here, low resistance. Nice distribution. Let's see if it keeps going. Put up my targets real quick. Where are they? So I didn't have any more buy side targets until, oh, I do, the session high up in there. That was. And there is consequent encroachment of this 1 hour fair value gap. Well, all right, got some nice distribution. Tricky. Stop hunt here, stop hunt here, stop hunt here. That beautiful distribution. Kind of just looking at this and thinking a little bit. Kind of thinking here. Like, it's amazing at this opportunity that we have. And as newer traders, if we learn the lessons along the way, little things. And like in this instance, it just might have been. But that if we learn these little lessons along the way, if we don't get upset about the undesirable things happening, and we just take them for a lesson, right? We either learn. What's the saying? We either win or we learn. And here it's like, oh man, you know, I was potentially on the right side, and I potentially had a winning trade. And I find that stuff to be fuel to go forward. Because we can see almost anything from both sides. And I could be upset that I'm down 2R today, but I really don't care. I'm really just excited at this opportunity to get to learn, practice, and perfect this craft and this skill. And what this skill provides, especially in terms of scalability, is it's interesting. I don't know how many people have experienced stupid money and how different that is. I have before with my last business, and I'm not trying to say this in like a greedy kind of way or like a money centered kind of way, because I'm a family centered, family and God first kind of person. But life is just so easy. Print money. All of life's little challenges, you just solve them with money. You just throw money at the problems. Like, no matter what it is, health, home. And that takes a whole level of stress off. When you do that, suddenly the presence increases. Your ability to focus is there. You're not worried. You're not stressed. You're present with your family. And that's where it's at. I feel like I lived so much of my life stressed out over money for so long and didn't realize how unpresent I was. And then when my last business failed, then the stress came back. And it's a weird thing to sit there and kind of balance the two. The lesson's obviously to be present with your family, no matter what. But if you're the provider, it's easier said than done. And so when I sit here and I see these kind of things happening, like my mind just transitions forward to a point in time in which I get it right more than I get it wrong. To a point in time in which, you know, I've scaled up my risk and I've started stacking accounts. And then I'd be sitting here with this one trade. This one trade would be pulling 5 or 10 grand. And that just makes me happy. I don't know about you. Kind of waiting to see what this does. 5 previous equilibriums right about there. I did go ahead and log out my account. I didn't want to be tempted. I do want to follow my rule of 2 losses and I take a time do we have? It is just outside of the 1010 macro. Over here. That 15-minute candle. 2 minutes to close on this one. So it did sweep liquidity up in here. Looking at the 1 hour, same thing, swept liquidity there, these relative equal highs. Didn't tap into consequent, that's a tough one. Consequent encroachment just yet of this 1 hour gap. I got that drawn right. But this 4 hour gap that I was eyeballing, it did. Okay, so you can see the arrow there, pushing, drawn up to this gap. So that might be all she even had inside of her. So here's an inversion forming in reverse. That's not time for a reversal in my eye. I could be wrong. What do I know, right? The market's always right. Charts are a little messy at the moment. Keeping some of these drawings on here so I can document yesterday. I didn't journal yesterday yet. Got this 5-minute fair value gap, kind of eyeballing. Don't mind seeing a rebalance through it, into it and then come out of it. if you're bullish. Whole bunch of gaps. Let's see what that looks like. Didn't tap into that gap, but there's an old new week opening gap that it looks like it's the moment rejecting from. There's still a minute to close on this. Which, if it's bearish, this is where it will reject from. There. Pushing through this, looking like it wants to turn it into a BPR. 27 seconds left on that 5-minute candle. Be one of the days where it just doesn't want to do what you want it to do. Loaded up the last pieces, took 5 trips with 2 big vans, but while I was waiting, I passed MFFU in the chop, the big range. You passed an eval in that chop. Nice. That was some dicey chop, man. Kind of have this inversion right in here, close below. No, we don't. We do. I say we kind of do. Which that for me also, so that was outside of macro, but that would have met criteria for a short probably. We took liquidity, we tapped into a higher time frame level. I'm just not playing right now. Because look at this, the models of appearing in reverse against this long. Kutsu. Is that how you say it? K-H-U-T-S-O? Kutso? Kutso Mangano? Mangano? Kutso Mangano. Well, if that's how you say it, I appreciate you watching, man. Thank you. It's just chopping up. Look at that, grinding up. So the long, I would have been break even on this long. I'm gonna keep some of this on the chart. I'm gonna clean it up, but I'm gonna annotate it so I can study today's price action a little bit better. What I call this, like, I guess my playbook. I annotate what I don't do, and then I can come back and take a look and also not only evaluate the trades I did take, evaluate the trades I didn't take. Because there's a lot of insight in what you don't do. I've noticed that not only is it about being right and wrong on the trades you did take, but being right and wrong on the trades you didn't take sometimes too. And so right here, you know, was this short? I mean, it generated all this trendline liquidity. Right down in here. Gotta zoom out. So huge bearish SMT right there. So here too, this short would have met all of my criteria. I actually kind of would have liked it because whereas here this was all on the chop, that broke out of the chop. I'm just curious to see, does this even play out? Or so there. So if you're bearish, you'd want to short above the midnight open, right? And that's it. Here's a breaker. This will be a bearish breaker if it closes below it. Tiny gap right there. So here I probably would have, this low is so close, I probably would have gone that low. I feel like today's price action kind of matches at the moment with how I was reading the higher time frames, where I wasn't feeling like they were telling me what they wanted to do. Got a bunch of mixed signals from the charts, and I went in today with essentially a neutral bias. So I was willing to be long or short today. And it's kind of after the open, it's kind of represented that pretty well in the candles, I feel like. So still just tape reading this short idea. Looks like it might play out. So I didn't take this short. I'm already down 2R, so just kind of tape reading at the moment. I shorted on this breaker coming out down here, got stopped out. I longed here on this inversion right here. So this inversion I longed coming down into here. Had my stop too tight and got stopped out on this run. So that was my 2 shots. And given with what I was seeing on price action, not interested in putting any more risk on the table at the moment. This would have played out. Would have been sweet. That's nice to see too. That's what I was just talking about, where like, remember days like today used to really frustrate me, because like, oh, I got stopped out here, I got stopped out here, and then the trade just ran without me, and then I had another idea and I didn't take it, and it was a winner too. And yeah, that can be true, and that can be how you look at it. But I'm sitting here going, okay, I was really close today. I had not everything right, but I had enough of it right. And it's just the way the cookie crumbled today. You know, I won the last number of trades in a row. I lost 2 in a row today. Okay, that's just part of the distribution, the random distribution of the outcome of these trades. And that combines with our ability to read the charts. And here today, after I got stopped out, I kind of thought about going back in, seeing this inversion getting inverted again. Thought about going back in, but I noticed that the candles were telling me a story that said maybe not. Maybe this is a little lower probability than normal. It did play out, because that's just probabilities. But I didn't go in. Just seeing this consolidation pattern in here. At least that's where I'm at in my trading. Kind of combining the probabilities with the discernment to try to find the high probability conditions. And I'm not seeing it. You know, price on the 1 hour and the 4 hours kind of bouncing between PD arrays. So that to me also kind of indicates lower probability. But I'm just happy that to see a couple of trade ideas play out. You know, it gives me what I'm looking for. I guess it makes me feel optimistic. Not like, oh, I don't have, you can sit here and go, I don't have any clue what I'm doing or anything like that. No, because look at this short, you know, beautiful, played out, right? Look at that, even gave 3R probably. Part of it is just being okay with whatever happens. So for me, I'm ending today red, and that's a bummer. And that's okay too. I'm in no hurry. I'm still here in the learning process. And I just wanna live to trade another day. That's kind of where I guess I feel like I've had a lot of scar tissue in trading, and I'm trying to stop creating more scar tissue. So yeah, sweet to see that play out. I'm gonna come back later today and evaluate some of these trades. See, you know, I like looking at all of this, seeing what would have been the perfect play today. And in hindsight, would I have taken? One way I look at it is like in hindsight, would I have taken this trade again? And so I don't know. I'll look at the charts a little later and see, would I have taken this trade again? Would I have taken that loss? But cool, we saw a couple ideas play out. I think that's it for me for today. Being able to take a loss and stop is a superpower. So yeah, I mean, it's goes against what the primal brain wants to do, you know, and that's the more I'm realizing. That's the game we're playing, right, man? Like the technical analysis isn't hard. A monkey can push a button, right? None of this stuff is that hard. Once you learn where PD arrays are, once you learn where price is going, not to say there aren't some days where the draw on liquidity is a little ambiguous. Today, for one, for me, the draw on liquidity was ambiguous, but it doesn't mean I can't go in with a dual bias, right? And if I see something perfect long, take it. A monkey could do that, right? The struggle is overcoming the impulse and controlling the impulses and getting it just right. And it's like a perfect balance, because I know for me, I've been a little bit on the other side because of the scar tissue I already had trading, where I was too conservative and I wouldn't pull the trigger. And it took me months to work my way through that, and I still am. I mean, why I'm trading a small account again. It's why I'm put my risk back down. Was because of that scar tissue. And so yeah, you know, it's like it goes both ways. I'm actually working my way to be more aggressive on the charts, to be more aggressive trading, just because of that other side of the spectrum. So, but we'll get this, man. We'll get this. Yeah, IFG after a liquidity sweep is a banger. Yeah. At least to a swing point. Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, everyone. I hope I'm gonna cut the stream, go get some breakfast, eat a pile of eggs, and whatever else happens to be there, get some more coffee. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope you all had a good day trading and had some wins or some lessons. One of the two. I got lessons today, so that was my day, and that's fine. I'm gonna go journal them, and I live to trade another day. Right, $300 in losses is recoverable in a trade. So I'm happy with where I'm gonna end today.